Yeah, I'm like, this is on Tyler height, so now it needs to be lowered to those who are 5'3" and shorter. Just kidding. So good afternoon, everyone. We have a full house here today, which is awesome because, you know, only the short agenda stands between us and our main event and some cake, which is great. So thank you all for coming. I'm Lindsay Begood, for those who don't know. I am your interim executive director now. So yeah, for those who don't know me, which I believe I know all of you, I've been here 7 years May 1st, so time flies when we're having fun. And now, over the past couple weeks, I've officially transitioned down into Tyler's office, which is great. So I've seen many of you take your laps by there and so on, so it's always good to see you in a different light. But don't be a stranger. But we'll get right into it today because we do have a full agenda and then a nice party that you're all able to attend after and speak some really nice words or feedback for Tyler and give him life advice as he takes on to his next adventure. So first, though, I do want to introduce, as we continue to have our board of directors come and attend this meeting, we have two board members here today. We have Barb Tice, who has introduced herself. She is our board chair. Barb, give a wave over there. And then our next guest of honor is Julie Bissonette.
Good afternoon. I kind of got the memo that pink was happening today. Is it Pink Day? Yeah. I thought you all just had spring fever, that you had gotten out all your bright colors for this particular day. But nice job on the pink. You look wonderful. As Lindsay said, my name is Julie Bissonette, and I've had the honor of serving on your board here at East Castle Place for 4.5 years now. I come with a lengthy history in senior living that I won't bore you with, but most recently I served as the executive director at Newcastle Place up in Mequon. I served there for just over 7 years, and COVID hit and I became a stay-at-home mom. So I couldn't stay away for long, so Tyler brought me out of retirement and asked me to serve on your board of directors, which has been an amazing opportunity to stay in the industry, to visit with all of you when I have time, and it's just been really joyful to see all of the changes that have happened at East Castle Place over the last 4 years and to support those changes. On the board of directors, I serve as the chair of the nominating committee. That committee is charged with making sure that our board continues to stay full. We can have anywhere from 9 to 18 members on the board, and we currently have 13 members serving on our board of directors. So it's a nice treat to be able to recruit and onboard new members with valuable talents and knowledge that will serve the community going forward. I also serve on the executive committee as the member at large. Thank you. When I'm not here, I continue to stay in my role as, when I'm not here, I continue to serve in my very special role as a stay-at-home parent, as my husband works for IBM and has to do a lot of traveling. I have a 7-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son that keep me very busy, 2nd grade and 5th grade, and it's just really the joy of my life to be able to spend time with them, but also to continue serving in senior living. So thank you for having me today, and I look forward to continuing on your board of directors for as long as they'll have me. So thank you.
Thank you, Julie. So month over month, we'll continue to have board of directors goal to be a part of this meeting and introduce themselves to you all so that as you see them walking in the halls, you're not just seeing them as a visitor, but part of the community, and that you have the ability to continue to build that relationship, which is great. Next up, we have another new face who's on day 8 here, Mr. Bryce Bingham, our interim administrator, if he would like to come up, and if any of you were able to attend kind of Bryce's initial intro last Thursday, but if not, we can have him give just a brief introduction of himself, as he's still kind of getting the health center update under his wing. So
Perfect, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Lindsay said, day 8, just getting my feet wet this second week, but my name is Bryce Ring. I'll be the active interim administrator for Bradford Terrace. I have, excuse me, I've been working for LCS for the last 7 years in various administrative roles, plus my longest stretch has been in asset performance management and operations administration with their procurement and supply chain department. So I'm really looking forward to putting a little bit of my schooling to the test and fill in and support Bradford Terrace. But outside of that, I'm originally from La Crosse, Wisconsin, so I'm pretty happy to be home. Lived in various states of Minnesota, Illinois, Iowa, and then even a short stint out in New Jersey. So I'm really excited to be home. And I'm really looking forward to this opportunity and supporting Bradford Terrace, all of you, and the whole team here at East Castle Place. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Bryce, for that introduction. And next up, the man who needs no introduction, Mr. Mike Brieger with his philanthropy update.
Thank you, Lindsay. Typically, Tyler is much more verbose than Lindsay, so they asked me to talk a little bit longer today because he's not on the agenda. So I'm going to give it my best shot. I did want to give you the wrap up on the Marshall High School fundraiser that we did. I gave you all a preliminary wrap up last time. You all know that the Marshall High School trip got canceled for 2025. They're planning on it for 2026. East Castle Place residents had actually raised $2,661 to support that trip, a figure that I think is just amazing. Given the fact that Marshall High School is not taking the trip this year, we offered the donors to that fund an opportunity to redirect if they wanted to. When you donate to a cause at East Castle Place, those funds are dedicated to that cause, and if that doesn't come about, you have an opportunity to redirect. What ended up happening was that $1,180 of the Marshall High School collection is still going to Marshall High School. We've already sent the funds to the Milwaukee Public Schools Foundation. They're going to hold it till next year and then release it to Marshall High School when the students get ready for their trip. $900 was given to our own Treasure Chest Scholarship Fund, and I'm extremely grateful for that. $431 went into the Employee Appreciation Fund, and that will be dispersed at the end of the year. And there were a few donors who decided that they would reconsider and choose a fund later that they would contribute to and requested their money back at this point in time. And that's always an option, and we're happy to do that. So it really was a very successful event for us, even if Marshall High School didn't take the trip. I want to also bring you up to date on two very special things that have happened. Number one of our residents, one of your very good friends, Pat Dunn, has a group of friends that come here for dinner on a regular basis. And as you know, when they do that, they don't, there's no cash register as you exit. It goes against Pat's fund. Her friends donated money to pay for the meal that they were at. Pat donated the money to us, and $347 went to the Treasure Chest Scholarship Fund, so we're very pleased. And if you all remember the memorial that was written by Libby Sellers' family, East Castle Place Treasure Chest Scholarship Fund was selected as a charity of choice in lieu of flowers. Friends and relatives of Libby Sellers ended up donating $1,025 to the East Castle Place Scholarship Fund. We're very, very grateful for that. The legacy that Libby created here at East Castle lives on, and we're very, very grateful for that. Speaking of Treasure Chest, people are coming back. Some of your neighbors are snowbirds. They're coming back now. This is an opportune time for me to point out we're always looking for more Treasure Chest volunteers. We have our new schedule for May that we're preparing right now. If you want to get involved in that, please Jane, why don't you raise your hand? Anybody who wants to learn more about volunteering, come and talk to Jane, or you can talk to myself. even come down for one of our treasure chest sales events and just see what it's like. Talk to Jane, talk to myself. Maybe you can be one of our next volunteers. One of your neighbors came to me and said, you know, we're not just an entity unto ourselves. We live in a neighborhood on the east side of the city of Milwaukee, represented by community organizations. They asked if we could join Murray Hill Neighborhood Association. I've looked into it. The annual dues for Murray Hill Neighborhood Association is an astronomical sum of $50. So we are going to be joining the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association. You will all have an opportunity to learn about what's happening in our neighborhood and participate in events if you want to. I thought you'd all like to know we're also already a nonprofit member of the Downer Avenue Business Association. We have been for about 4 or 5 years now, and you know we work very closely with them on some of their things as well. I want to remind you, up in my office, you hear a lot about this stuff during the holiday season, but I still have Cabernet Sauvignon. I have about 2.5 cases. I also have 2 or 3 bottles of Chardonnay. The Chardonnay went very well. That's up in my office. We also still have Castle cookbooks. I encourage you and invite you to come up and see me if you're interested in any of those things. Last but not least, I wanted to point out one final thing. Tax season has now come and gone. So a lot of people don't think about this anymore at a time like this. But we've received a lot of car donations from your neighbors who ended up getting tax write-offs as a result of that. I want to point out to you that if you choose to do that as well, you can dedicate that contribution. In addition to getting a tax write-off, you can donate those funds to any fund of East Castle Place. Many of your neighbors who have donated their cars gave it to the enrichment fund. We've already received over $28,000 in donations of cars. The enrichment fund has benefited from it greatly. Some of the things we've done with the enrichment fund are the new beds in the guest suite, the billiards table many of you have enjoyed, the electric door at the rooftop garden, the outdoor fire pit. That was all done through the enrichment fund. I also want to point out we have a couple of endowment funds at East Castle. If it's a significant amount of money from a donation, a car or something like that, you could ask that it be given to one of the endowments. We have an endowment for the Treasure Chest Scholarship Fund now. We also have one for an employee well-being endowment fund. So come see me if you have questions about any of this stuff. Are there any questions I can answer for someone now? Yes?
Who determines the price of the car?
We work with an entity called CARS, Charitable Auto Rides and Services. They work with an auction house here in Milwaukee. The car is actually auctioned, and so the funds that come to East Castle are based on what the car sold for at auction. Any other questions? All right. Is it going back to you, Lindsay?
It is.
All right.
Thank you, Mike. So Majorca is off today and tomorrow for her birthday. She's on her way up to Green Bay right now, like many Wisconsinites, to go to the draft with her son. So that's fun. So I will be subbing in for Majorca on this question. So Majorca's question for this month is, why are the cocktail glasses in the 1884 so small? Only in Wisconsin will that question be so perfect. So technically, the glasses that are serving your old fashions and your cocktails, because I believe this was in reference to the smaller old fashions that are being served, are true 4-ounce glasses. So with a 2-ounce pour of alcohol, that 4-ounce glass is technically the appropriate size. Now, as a girl from up north, I understand my supper clubs, and so I empathize with the 4-ounce glasses too. But for the time being, we will stick with the 4-ounce pours, just for obviously the integrity of our bartenders, as well as There are 8-ounce glasses for those other cocktails, but for the more hard liquor drinks, the 4-ounce glasses will remain. And you can always order more than one, too, so. Note to self. Any other questions about the cocktail glasses or anything for Majorca or the dining update? No? We'll end on that? Excellent. All right. Evan?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a little wild to be here. Last State of the Castle, my wife was in active labor. And so in about an hour is my daughter's 4-week birthday. Or first week, I should say. But it's good to be back, guys. It's very good to see your faces. I've enjoyed showing you all pictures and all that, so it's good to be back at the castle. I have a few updates. So the number one is our bus. So our 14-passenger bus needs some work. It's currently in Illinois getting some repairs done, and it's going to be out for about 4 weeks, possibly longer. So if you're in, it'll affect independent living in mostly due to the fact that we're not going to be able to have, host 14 people at one time for our outings. It's going to go down to 9. However, I encourage you all to continue to sign up. If you want to drive yourself, some residents have driven themselves. I'll figure out a way to get you there. We always kind of band together and make sure we have a fun time. So just know that moving forward. Second, I'm happy to announce that we've brought in a new fitness coordinator. Did anybody get a chance to read Ray Boo yet? Yes. Wonderful. We're very happy to have her aboard. She has an extensive yoga and group fitness background, and she's going to be doing not only group classes, but personal training as well. So we're very excited to have her on board. The second one is a question or maybe a statement. Fitness center needs one more treadmill. So at this time, we have quite a bit of equipment in the fitness center, and I'm sure as all you know, I'm not sure if we got a 4th treadmill, where that 4th treadmill will go. So we have our seated elliptical, our seated bicycle. So at this time, we're gonna stick with 3 treadmills. You know, I go down there, I know sometimes in the morning, our busier hours, 3 treadmills can be in use, but you know, if you go down there in the afternoon, they're not all in use. Hopefully too, with the nicer weather coming up, some of those walks can be outside. But we will monitor that situation, and if we need to go with another treadmill at some point, would be more than willing to do that. The next thing I have is talking about May, but first I want to talk about Plarn. It's not on the agenda, but I know you guys have seen some of the residents walking around with a bunch of plastic bags, or maybe they've asked you for plastic bags. You might see some ladies in the 1884 and you're wondering, what are they doing with those plastic bags? So Lynn is going to show what we do with those plastic bags here.
I wanted to thank those of you, so many save bags, and that's great. This is from the Mercy Mat volunteers who make the mats. So we take the balls of Plarn that we put together out to West Dallas. But I wanted you to know, each mat takes about 120 hours from start to finish. They measure 3 foot by 6, and they need 750 bags to make one mat. So this one, we asked them to send something that would go with Lindsay's outfit today.
Should I help you hold it on?
There it is. It's it's about I don't know, 3/4 of an inch thick. It keeps people cushioned a little bit. These are washable, so that homeless can throw them in the wash. Dave and I did see a person walking through the 3rd ward with a nice big backpack on and one of these rolled up at the top. So this is what you're saving bags for. So keep it up.
And that kind of wraps into our Earth Week or Earth Day week. I want to thank the Green Team for all they've done. All week we've had stuff going on, whether it's presentations, cleanups. We're having a presentation and a hike at Schutz Autobahn on Friday, weather permitting, that is, of course. But great work from the Green Team. Thank you so much for your support of our Mother Earth. But also just want to touch on some things that are going on in May. Big thanks to Lifestyle Committee and Rita. I don't know if she's in here. I thought I saw her. There she is. Big thanks to Rita and the Lifestyle Committee. Got a huge agenda for May. Did everyone get a calendar or see the calendars out? Wonderful. So we have some outings to the Mitchell Park Domes on May 2nd, a Brewer game on May 7th. Brewers are underway. That means the warm weather is on the way. The Shalom Zoo on May 16th. And then just want to highlight some stuff that's going on inside of the castle. So our wellness committee is teaming up with our East Castle therapy team to do a presentation. The sound bath. Has anyone been to the sound bath before from Adagio Sound Healing? Wonderful. Would highly, highly encourage everyone, if you have not, to come check that out. It's an awesome experience. So that's going to happen on May 27th. Ellie Spalding, our former artist in residence, is returning in May on 15th and the 22nd. She's going to be doing some decorative stones that are going to be going into our East Castle Gardens. So that's a chance for everyone to get involved with that. And I'm very excited for Mr. Howrick. I don't know if he's in here. Okay, but if anyone's talked to him, he's been putting together, along with some other residents, diving into the East Castle archives. And he's going to be giving a presentation on the history of East Castle, in particular, the early years. And then one other thing, Kathy Johnson is going to be returning with our great courses and our foreign film series. So that's something that we had a few months ago. Kathy, do you want to say a couple words about our upcoming series here?
Of course. I'm so excited about it. Great courses. Everybody knows what great courses are. Wonderful. Okay. I own over 50 of those cotton picking things, and I've enjoyed them. And one that I really enjoy is called Cycles of American Political Thought. A professor from Southern Methodist University. And I was so impressed with it's just the history of how America came to be, how the United States came to be the United States. So I really encourage people who are interested in the United States and our history to come Thursday. It'll be the first and third Thursdays of the month at 1 o'clock. We're aiming for the theater. I put some information in the library. There's a little packet of info about the professor, about the class, and a list of, there's 36 lectures. We might not want to listen to all or look at all of them. The group that does it will decide how they want to approach it. So I urge you all to come. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But pick up a packet. There's a little flyer and a packet of information. Foreign films are back. May 8th. The foreign film will always be on the second Thursday of the month in the theater at 1 o'clock. Looking forward. I'm starting light. We have a French rom-com. And it's My Donkey, My Lover, and I. And it was a delightful film. I saw it recently, and it's pretty funny. So I hope you all will take a look at it and think about joining me on the 1st for Cycles of American Political Thought, and on the 8th for My Donkey, My Lover, and I. Thank you.
Big thanks to Hello. All right. Big thanks to Kathy and Tim Kale put on a presentation this week. That was awesome. Susan McInich hosted something yesterday. So glad we have so many residents that are interested in facilitating things here at East Castle. So with that is the end of my update. Any questions for me before I pass it on here? Wonderful. I will pass it on to Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still doing maintenance work members. So I'll jump into the questions first, and then I'll touch on the memo and take any questions. So the first question is the resident key option for the lobby doors in consideration for installation? For reference, they're talking about the North Point Terrace main entrance, that sliding door. Previous to construction, there was a key cylinder just off to the side. Your B1 key you have would insert, turn, and then open those doors so that if you came in after hours, you could get in the building. So I did work with LaForce on that. That electronic key cylinder is under order. I should have it in here sometime in May, and then I'll work for scheduling. So I'll just say roughly that first couple weeks of June, we should be able to wrap up reinstalling that exterior key lock. Next question was when will the lower porches be power washed? That'll be taken care of in May. Not everybody has those lower concrete porches, so those individuals I'll be contacting you to schedule a time to have our teams come out to pressure wash those patios. Last question here, or excuse me, the memo, the asphalt replacement memo. Everybody's received that now? Head nods out there, perfect. So that's kind of, again, it's a continuous effort to get all of our pavement up to snuff. So there's eliminating trip hazards and refreshing the asphalt before it completely degrades. So last time we did the North Point Terrace entrance, this time we're focused on the Lake Terrace entrance, if you will. So that's coming off of Lake Drive. It also happens to be our service entrance for a lot of trucks and deliveries. So from the approach, so that's right as it hits the concrete on the road, that concrete there, the sidewalk, the French drain, that's all concrete, that'll be replaced, and then the sidewalk and the asphalt all the way up around the back of the facility will be replaced. So it's about a 3-week process that builds in a little time for rain delays and things like that. The next week is when they start, so they'll be beginning on Monday. They're gonna focus specifically on the concrete, so that's gonna be the curbing, the sidewalks, that's what they'll be focusing on. All the asphalt will remain for that week. Once the concrete's complete and cured, going into the following Monday, I believe that's the 5th, that's when they're gonna start doing the asphalt. So we need the whole week for that all the asphalt to get taken up, all the base to be repaired, drains to be adjusted so all the water flow is shedding properly, we don't ruin the new asphalt, and then they'll be go ahead and repaving all that, all the way back. The following week is built in there for rain delays, plus we have to have kind of significant amount of time for that asphalt to cure, so that when the big trucks get on it, the delivery trucks, they don't start damaging that asphalt. Because you can have people walk on it, cars drive on it, but the big trucks, when they pivot their wheels, it just ruins asphalt. So we gotta make sure it's completely cured before we let them back on. In the interim, we've worked out scheduling for deliveries and garbage trucks and stuff like that. So we're all set there. You may not care that much, but just for sake of knowledge, the cardboard dumpster, the single source recycling dumpster is going to be dragged around the corner for access for our teams. And then just to be on the safe side, you'll notice a 30-yard construction dumpster that we sometimes put on the ramp down in the garage. We're going to have one brought back that week of the 5th. That way, just in case things run long, we have a place in which to dispose of our garbage, because our compactor is going to be inaccessible for a little bit. So we're scheduling another pickup just before they shut down that asphalt, and then we're going to have that just on the off chance there's a problem. Want to make sure we're secure, because you'd be surprised how fast the garbage builds up if you don't have a compactor. Any questions on the asphalt? Yes, yes, sorry.
So will we always have access to the Lake Terrace garage?
The question was, will we always have access to Lake Terrace garage? No. While the asphalt's out, you won't have access. Correct me if I'm wrong, Anna will be reaching out to anyone who's parked in that garage.
Maureen and Teresa will.
Maureen and Teresa. Okay. Forgive me. They'll work with anyone that's in that garage to relocate you into the Bradford Terrace garage so that you're parking underground. Is that another hand?
Yeah, Eric, I don't know if this is, our responsibility at all, but when Holly and I were picking up trash on Earth Day, the sewer grates that are just off the curb were completely packed. Dead leaves and everything. There's no way water can get down in there.
You mean in the streets you're
talking?
talking?
In the street.
Yeah.
But I just thought they're right by our properties, and they were just completely plugged.
Yeah, you're right. That was some pretty heavy rain we had last Friday.
Well,
I'll go ahead and put a work order in for the grounds guys just to go and clear those. That way we're not getting any built up water in our property.
Yeah.
Good point. Thank you. Jim?
This is another,
Oh,
Shirley's got.
Oh,
this
sure,
is
yes.
another subject. What do we do with electronic recycling?
They want to recycle and they send it.
Oh, I'm sorry?
We got a note that
I
said,
have it here.
yeah, and electronics are one of the things that are accepted as far as I understand.
Well, I'm not going there.
Well, you don't have to go there, you drop them off at Bradford the day before.
Oh, does it say that? I didn't read it.
So-
We're at Bradford.
I just think in the entryway, somewhere down there. I think the email had two parts to it, and you may only have the map part, or the thing about the Whitefish Bay thing.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, it's gonna be gathered here and taken there,
There'll be a receptacle.
as I understand it.
All right. Jim?
Yeah, about the key option, what about the south side, Lake Terrace? You know?
Yeah, I didn't have a key option for,
Exactly.
yeah, I didn't have it, we never had one there, doesn't mean we can't have one there.
It'd be nice, you know?
Okay, I can look into it, Jim. I only ordered the one for the front, but I can look into another option for the one for there as well. Because it's pretty simple, it just ties into the actual, into the operator on the door. It doesn't have to do anything with the security system, so. Yes, Mrs.
Yeah, Lake Terrace, at least where the big parking lot is coming into Bradford.
Yes. You're saying how far it was going
That would
up?
be a good place for key.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
At the Bradford entrance from the big parking lot.
Okay.
That entrance with Bradford Terrace and coming in there from the parking lot.
Okay, I can look at the other entrances. For now, we've simply tried to go what we had in place here for years, which was the keys at the North Point Terrace entrance. So that's the one that's coming. I'll get that squared away, and then we can look at the other options for adding it.
How's this all affecting the other garage, the school garage?
The Lake Terrace garage?
Yeah.
That one will be inaccessible. The Lake Terrace garage will be inaccessible during the construction. So that's where I had said, folks who are parking in there, Maureen and Teresa will be reaching out to those residents for relocation into the Bradford Terrace garage temporarily.
Bradford Terrace is the big one.
Yep, off of Prospect, that's right. Any other questions? All right, keep it moving, back to Lindsay.
Thank you, Eric. And I will just repeat Ms. Stone's question. She was asking about if you have any electronics that you'd like to dispose of, or old phones, or recycle. There is a big, I'd say, recycle event in Whitefish Bay, and in Bradford Terrace we will have a bin starting next week, it sounds like, and into the first week of May, that you would be able to drop off your old electronics for it to be taken over to be recycled. So right on time for spring cleaning.
I think one of the important things about that is that they will take cords, all those cords that we have that match things up, that are hard to get rid of otherwise. They will recycle them.
Excellent. So they will be taking old cords as well. If you have a junk drawer like I do, sift through that and get rid of old iPhone chargers or Androids, all of those old computer chargers, because those collect clutter quick. So, all right. Good question. Good stuff. So my question is kind of piggybacking off of what Evan discussed, and then I'm going to invite Jo up as well, because she is working with Mr. Holbridge on this as well. So could you give us some information about the Protestant Home Time Capsule artifacts and the room on first floor historic? So, Jo, tell us about your hard work.
I can give you information about that. What happened was someone pointed out that there was a supply room in the basement of Bradford that had some storage units in it that were filled with boxes of old stuff. And so Paul and Tyler and I went down there and we started digging through, and then Tyler allowed us to use the office that was it used to be used by Joe of IT, but when he moved down to another office. That was an empty room. And so we've set up kind of an archive library in there, which we will make available to anybody to be able to go in and look through stuff. We ask that you don't do it right now because Paul is sifting through this stuff he's going to do 2 programs this spring and another 2 programs next fall. And yes, there's that much to tell you about the history of East Castle Place. There's just some phenomenal things. I did set up the display case outside of the Creativity Center. I know the things are hard to read. At Paul's presentation, we'll have a table with several actual things on it that you can handle and read and put your magnifying glass over if you want to. So that's that. You want me to keep going here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you got your newsletters this week, I hope. If you didn't, there are extra copies on the library table. The centerfold is not a Playboy centerfold, but it is pictures of all the candidates that are running for the election. The election is next Wednesday. From 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock, you will have your ballots on your ledge by 8 o'clock in the morning, according to Jane.
Yes.
Is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks
It's
from
2
now?
weeks.
2 weeks from now, sorry, 2 weeks from yesterday. You'll have them. And I noted that that's the day we have the Brewers game. So be sure you vote before you go to the Brewers game because the voting is from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And you will know the results that night by dinner time. We'll count the votes and we'll have the results for you by then. At the May council meeting, we will elect the council officers, which is the president, vice president, and secretary, and we will assign liaisons to the standing committees that operate throughout the community here. East Castle Exchange. How many of you seen the little bulletin board in the little alcove next to people are starting to use it, and we had a request for there to be a place where residents could post things. The important thing here is to be sure that it's resident related. We don't want any business cards. We don't want any, Whitefish Bay is having an art fair. None of that, because it just takes up space. And I noticed there are 2 tickets there right now for something this weekend. And there's the sign-up sheet for the rhubarb, if you want rhubarb. And there was a wonderful thing about a film that a group is going to is it produced by Pat Crump's granddaughter? Right. Okay, so those are the things that are appropriate. There are little forms there that you can use to write your message on. And we'll be checking on it. We'll remove the things when the date has passed or after a week or so. Then that's the East Castle Exchange. I also want to remind you, if you do not have access to the e-blast, there are a few people here who do not have emails and don't have access when we send out an e-blast. There are binders in the library that give you the activities. There's a separate binder that does the memos, and they all go into that. We have also asked to work with the welcome ambassadors that they're being made aware of who on their floor may not have email, and they're being asked to do a neighborly thing, and when they get that e-blast, just either make a phone call or stop by or leave a copy of it on the person's ledge. So we hope we're solving that problem. The last piece of business I have has to do with the garden volunteering. I moved the box in here. It's been sitting in the mailroom for a long time. It was sitting in the library for a long time. This is your last chance to sign up, and I know you're all going to come rushing up here afterwards before you go get cake to sign up to help volunteer. In the resident-run gardens, we have 6 of them throughout the campus here. And you don't have to get down on your knees, you don't have to plant, you don't have to, Eric and his team are very supportive in that kind of heavy duty work. If you can hold a hose, handle a watering can, deadhead a flower that, or a plant that needs clipping, you can help in some way in this process. Okay, the reason I'm really here, where is Tyler? There he is. Okay, it's time to shine a light on you before we say goodbye. Thank you for seeing us through COVID and the renovation process with patience and humor. Thank you for listening to our ideas and concerns and helping us seek solutions. Thank you for saying yes more often than no, even though we didn't always agree when you said no. Thank you for leaving a legacy of a staff that embraces the concept of building the future with us, not for us. I have to turn the page, sorry. And I love the background. Thank you for the respect you have shown us, not as elders whose time has passed, but as colleagues with much to offer. We will miss you. We wish you well in your new adventure. But just so you don't forget us, we put together a few things for your new office.
This is very movable. On the bottom.
Well, thank you, Joe, and again, thank you for your kind words. And it wouldn't be a true state of the castle if I didn't have a question to answer. State of the castle question, submitted by one of you that was not put on the agenda. What is the most meaningful life lesson you learned working with the East Castle? Somebody submitted that. So I thought it was fitting. I did give Lindsay the heads up that I had one question that I was going to keep off the agenda. And I gave it a lot of thought. And of course, per usual, I don't have any notes because why do that? But I think the most meaningful life lesson that I learned was to surround yourself with individuals, people, residents that make you better. And so I've had the opportunity to be here for 7+ years and be with incredible people throughout that time. And now it's Lindsay's turn to be around those incredible people. Joe shared a lot of the successes, a lot of the different things that we've had to be a part of, that we've gone through, we've grown through, and it's something that I'm truly going to remember and miss. And so again, I think that life lesson of surrounding yourselves with a family that you won't forget, that make you better, make you stronger, is the life lesson that East Castle has given me. And that's the life lesson that I'm taking with me to Shorehaven to hopefully try and replicate in some manner. Because it truly is a very, very special community that East Castle is. It's something that I did not even realize I would know when I first joined here back in 2017, when the board of directors and a few resident council members like Libby Sellers took a chance on me. And again, I was welcomed with open arms, and it never left. So I appreciate it. I will miss you all, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to you. You've been incredible. Lindsay is lucky to take the reins. I know she's going to do a great job, and you know, it's not a goodbye, it's a see you later. So I'll see you later.
Well, those are big shoes to fill. So now we can have some cake, unless there's more questions any of you all might have after that. Otherwise, I will be around as well. I do think though, with us having a full house today of what would make the most sense, perhaps the back row, our director team can assist in kind of removing those chairs so we don't get any trip hazards or bottlenecks in that aspect. And then we can enjoy cake in here if you'd like it brought to you, or else we can blend into the 1884 as well. And you all can make your rounds with Tyler, as well as enjoy your favorite stories about Tyler. I know I'd love to share a few. In my 7 years of working together and friendship with him. So, no, Tyler really will be missed. I think it'll take till the next day to the castle to realize he no longer lives here. So to that point, hang tight and we will get the cake and punch and celebrations underway.